Good morning, BrewEd Isolation. Hope you're all well this lovely morning. Thank you very much for joining me for a day of what is going to be an absolutely spectacular day of learning, and hopefully a few laughs along the way as well. Before we start, and I'm going to go to Ed in a minute, and he's going to tell us all about BrewEd. I just want to thank a few people. So first of all, I want to thank everybody that's actually made the effort to put themselves forward for doing a presentation. It's wonderful that they've managed to do that. I mean, over 30 people from a wide range of backgrounds, and every single presentation is going to be absolutely awesome. I'd also like to thank Ed for allowing me to use the BrewEd tag, and Darren, of course, and Ed will tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. I also want to thank all of you lot for getting up on a Saturday, and whether you're going to see a bit of it or some of it or all of it, thank you very much for doing that. Make sure you've got your beers. I've got mine next to me. I'm not going to start them quite yet. I've had a cup of tea. First of all, I'm just going to say my name's Graham Andre. I'm a Year 4 teacher at Lane's End Primary School. And like probably a lot of you at the moment, I'm struggling with the lockdown. It's been really hard. I live on my own anyway. So I've been really immersing myself in Twitter. So I've been doing things like the Twitter movie night on a Wednesday, and we had the brilliant delicatessen this week. Next week we got Pride. So if you want to join us for that, please do. 8 o'clock, we all sit down, watch a film, and tweet about it. It's amazing. I've been doing things like not going anywhere, April hashtag. And I was walking downtown to get my essentials during the Easter. And I had this thought, I thought, but wouldn't it be brilliant? I've missed a few educational conferences already, like Primary Rocks, etc. And I thought, do you know what? It'd be brilliant to have a virtual one. I've been using StreamYard a little bit and saw that Mark Anderson's used it so well. I thought that could be the solution. So I got home and I DM'd our Ed. And I said, what do you reckon? And he said, yeah. And then that's it. And this is it. So we've got an amazing day ahead of us. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, I want to thank all of you that are contributing to it. Even if you're just watching, you're going to make this something very special today. I also want to make a big thank you to Pran Patel. A big thank you very much, because if he hadn't challenged like he did, then this wouldn't be the conference that it is now, because it's better because he challenged. So thanks very much for that, Pran. You are a legend. Right, I'm going to hand you over to Ed. Hopefully there won't be too much of me today. It will be just these brilliant speakers. Of course, there is the lunchtime music quiz, which should be an absolute treat for anyone, that one. Ed, take it away.
Hey, well, thank you for having me. What a strange privilege this is, to be speaking on my telephone to all those people out there. Yeah, no, you asked me to just talk about a little bit about where BrewEd first came from. And it came in some ways from a very happy time in my life, and it came from a sad place in my life as well. What it's all about is about connection. That's what we're trying to do with BrewEd. Philosophically, I think philosophically is maybe too big a word, but where it comes from is a feeling that in our British education system, something's gone wrong and people don't get to talk to each other. Primary teachers don't get to talk to secondary teachers. They have no clue what's going on, and it's a bit scary. Secondary teachers don't know what's going on in primary schools. None of us know what's going on in pupil referral units or special schools. The people who work in ITT get treated like they're either gods or monsters. Nobody's talking to anybody. And I mean, we could see that. I was talking to my friend Darren, and we could just see what's this, these arguments are happening because nobody knows what other people actually do. And we wanted to create a way that we could just get people in a room together and get them to meet and go, oh, they're real people. They're three-dimensional. They're not just one opinion on Twitter. They're a whole range of opinions. And do you know what? Most of those intersect with our opinions. We are far more alike than we are different. It doesn't matter if you're at this end of the troll scale or that end of the troll scale or somewhere in the middle. Most of us are in education because we believe in good outcomes for children, because we want people to be a bit happier and get on a bit more. That's what we're about. The bit we disagree on is detail. So we were feeling about that. How do you do it? Well, we remembered going to conferences and sitting in a room and listening to speeches all day. And then we remembered going to the pub after and having an amazing time talking about what we'd learned. And we thought, why not cut out the bit in the big room? Let's go straight to the pub, because that's where the ideas get thrown around. That's where the connections get made. If you're really interested in connections, you want to put the people together and stand back. It's going to be a bit different today, isn't it? Because today we have kind of got, I mean, we've got wall-to-wall brilliant ideas being thrown at us every 10 minutes. We're going to get another person on and we're going to hear something that's quite bite-sized, a little bit more teach meat than BrewEd in its flavour. But what we have got is we've got our DM groups, and you might be in groups with all sorts of people. You might want to set up a DM group for today, actually, so that you can have that conversation going on around the presentations. You've also got the chat going on this video and the comments going on under this video. What I'm hoping no one is going to do is sit at home and treat this like the telly. This isn't the telly. I'm not a telly presenter. I don't know how to do that. That's not my job. But we can toss some ideas out. And then all those, I mean, who knows how many people are going to watch this? Over the course of the time it's going on, it's going to be hundreds, and it might get to thousands. And all those people will have a reaction to what they watch, right? Just like in the pub at a flesh and blood BrewEd, you'd be able to see people's micro expressions as they hear the nonsense or they celebrate the brilliant. I want all that to be happening on the Twitters today, and people be conversing about what they're watching and sharing the bits that they're loving, and maybe raising a virtual eyebrow at the bits that they're not so sure about, and then maybe being challenged on that. Because the bit that's important here today, no, we love all our presenters and we want to hear what they say. Don't get me wrong, but they're not the important people. The important people are the people in the room. Just like in a real BrewEd, they're the people holding the pint and sitting back. You know, because they're the people who are going to have the conversations, who are going to take the genius back to their schools or to their colleges or to their pupil referral units or wherever it is, and say, I heard this amazing thing and I think we could do something different. You know, I think we could do it because that's how they do it over there and it might work for us. Do you see what I mean? It's about cross-pollination. It's about fertilization. It's about hybridization. It's about the radicalization of those little roots going out and connecting us all. That's where BrewEd came from. I said at the start it came out of a sad time in my life, and I don't want to be a downer, but the first BrewEd is special to me. It was one of the last events I was able to take my wife to. She was very poorly. She was very ill, and she didn't live a lot longer. The first BrewEd was in November of 2017, and my wife died at the very start of August in 2018. But she got to that one in Sheffield. And she met beautiful people in that room in Sheffield. She met people like Ruth and Carmel, Chris Dyson and Roz and Alan and Simon. If you don't know these people, I'm sorry that I'm throwing names at you, but Kerry and Manisha, people who are really important in my life now, people that I would never have met without BrewEd, and they were part of my life and part of my wife's life. And I'm so enriched by this. I'm enriched by the connections that they start off professional and they start off virtual, but they become very real. So I've got a huge thanks to BrewEd. Me and Darren put it together, but I mean, that was just a couple of emails and a document. The people that really made it happen were people who've come, people who've made it happen, people who've then set up their own BrewEds. I'm hoping that people will do more like this, Graham. I mean, this is an amazing thing, but there's nothing to stop anybody else. If they get in contact with me, I'll give them a thumbs up and we can have one of these every weekend. There's no reason why not. So that's what BrewEd is. It's about connection. It's about getting people together out of those different silos and saying, when we put you together in a social situation, that's when the connections happen and that's when things get exciting. So get on your DMs, get on your comments, and let's just have a day-long conversation about what we care about in education. Maybe about what we'd want to change. That's okay too. Will it all be changed after the COVID? Who knows? Guys, that's as much time as I've got. Thanks everybody for listening, and stay tuned. We've got brilliant people lined up all day. Graham, back to you, mate. He hasn't brought himself up. There he is. Hey,
Ed, thank you so much. Do you know what, that was brilliant. It's really brilliant to hear about that, and you know, that kind of been easy for you to talk about your wife as well. I know it really wasn't, but something that you've shared there. So thank you very much. You are awesome, Ed, and thank you very much for doing that. You know, there's always a couple of things I always forget. Please make sure that you are tweeting and commenting with the BrewEd Isolation hashtag. Let's see if we can get this trending today. That'd be really nice. I've also got a Padlet which I've linked somewhere, which if you've got questions and that, because we are quite short on space and time today, 10 minutes for each person. If you've got questions, put them on there, any comments at all, and I'm sure people will react to those. One other thing, Mags Ammond, she's doing a PhD and she's looking at BrewEds and how they are, how they run, etc. She's going to be lurking today. She's going to be watching us, see how it goes on. I'm sure she'll enjoy herself today, as indeed I'm sure I will too.